Hey friends, KFD, check it out. I'm sitting in one of these U-Haul $19.95 Silverados. The journey is going to start today. Stay tuned. In traffic jams, you know there's something women like about a pickup man. Well friends, here we go. Is that a square body on my trailer? Yes, it is. And the whole price of this thing was actually free $99. Now there was a few things I ended up buying off of him. Like I ended up buying the bench seat out of it, which it's a little kind of roached, but it's not bad. I've seen worse stuff. Bed's kind of gacked, but whatever. I don't care about that. But the important part about this cab is rust free. And unfortunately, Boo Hiss went to go check the VIN. It's a small block truck, but it's a 73 GMC Sierra. So it's got all the bells and whistles. It's the one that has the super wide trim on the tailgate, which is only for 73, 74. It's AC truck, which is great for here out in Arizona. And did I mention it was rust free? Originally, this thing came out of Sholo. So, and the great part is I got a hold of actually the guy that gave this to me got a hold of the previous owner who has the title. So it's a title truck. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I'm honestly thinking that I'm going to pull the cab off of it, save the core support, throw away the rest, and do something crazy. I don't know if it's going to be a super truck chassis, a Corvette chassis, or maybe just another C10 chassis. I don't know. But this Odyssey starts now. Let's load the truck up. Well, we're all loaded up, but let's jump in the U-Haul. And then we are going to go cruise back up north to Gilbert, where I live. Maybe we should swing by a car wash and wash this thing first. It's pretty gross. Hey friends, KFT, happy Thursday. We're rocking the 1999 Silverado. Why are we doing that? Well, because I'm back on my square body bullshit. You see, I bought a tailgate off of a 73 GMC, and if you don't know square bodies, it's kind of a 1 year or 2 year only deal. Kind of hard to find. Well, the tailgate that I bought happened to come off of this thing. And, well, the guy messaged me this morning and said, hey, dude, if you want it, come and get it. It's free. So for free $99, well, I ended up paying $100 for a seat for it. But for free $99, I got a largely complete 73 GMC. Again, it's missing the drivetrain. It's missing a fender on this side and a door, but I've got everything else for it. So let's see what I can cobble together. Stay tuned, friends. And, oh, yeah, I forgot to mention, too, this thing is way less rustier than Greenzilla ever was. If you guys remember that, go back and look at my previous videos about my green 75 C10. And I just so happen to have a really nice mint pristine 73 GMC grill for it. Well, I'm sorry I didn't film this at all, but there we go. We've got some butthole in a 73 GMC that's been tailgating me. But one of the things that I missed filming was the fact that we went to go move the truck out of its slumber, and there was no front wheel bearings or castle nuts. So I had to go run around to 3 different AutoZones and an O'Reilly's to get outer bearings and some castle nuts. And then I took the truck over to the car wash, and you should have seen the amount of mud and dirt and crud that was in that thing. And I'm actually honestly surprised at how clean this thing is, or how good a shape this truck actually is. There is one little spot of rust in the floor pan underneath the seat. It's about the size of a dime, and one of the cab corners has been repaired before. But considering that my last square body I had, Greenzilla, the cab was so rusty, I had to replace the entire cab. And the only parts missing so far is a driver's side fender, a driver's side door, and a drivetrain, and a hood. So that's really honestly about it. I found the seat in it. Well, I ended up buying the seat for $100, and no rips, no tears. I'll throw a Mexican blanket over it. But honestly, all I need is some sheet metal parts and a drivetrain, and I'll have a good running truck. And maybe some wheels and tires and a windshield and a bunch of other little stuff. But yeah, y'all get the idea. Well, it's the end of day one, and Yogi is definitely checking this thing out. But here is what we got. We got this thing tucked in the garage. That wheel does not, or that tire doesn't hold air. It's completely smoked and done. But overall, I'm pretty happy. This thing does take up most of the garage. And incidentally, I bought this fender a couple months ago because I thought that I might end up with this truck, and I thought that it needed a pair of front fenders. Obviously, doesn't need that fender, but we got a piece of neat wall art. Yogi's digging it. But at the end of day one, here we go. We've got some parts. Now it's going to be lots of cleaning. Lots of cleaning. The windshield did get hit pretty bad, and I don't know, something hit it on the way up from Tucson, and there's some broken glass in here. The carpet stinks. The headliner's gross. It's coming out. But all in all, the fact of the matter is that I finally have a square body sitting in my garage. We've got plenty of parts. It's another great day of saving the squares. Stay tuned. Let's build a square body. All right, friends, here's the current progress. The Square hasn't even been home 24 hours, and this is what we got going on. As you can see, kind of looks like a truck. Put the door and the fender on last night. So now I've just been on the hunt for another door and another fender. And then I got to figure out that rust hole situation. We got a tire put on it so that way I can roll it around. And actually, I bought this Redneck Power fender out of the local picture part, and I originally bought it with this truck in mind, just in case in the off chance I ever do buy this thing and reunite the tailgate. I meant to pick apart this morning. I stashed the other fender like months ago, and it's still sitting in a Ford. So here in the next week or two, I'll go grab it. The seats are just kind of sitting in here. There's a bunch of grease over here, and we did a lot of vacuuming. Oh, and the windshield's gone too. So I'm still trying to clean out all the little glass shards after vacuuming, blowing all the air out. It's here on the floor. I'm picking glass shards out of my feet. Fun times. But this is what we got going on so far. Pretty excited about that. You can see the B.O. Evans Dallas, Texas bumper. Some sticker from Rock Station San Diego. So this little girl's been around. And so now, the other thing I've got to try and figure out, what do I put in here? Now I've done plenty of big block swaps. I mean, my last 75 C10 Greenzilla, I put a big block in it. It was originally a 350 car. And then when I had Maintenance 1, which is a 74 C20, it originally was a big block truck. Had 350 in. I blew the 350 up, dropped a 454 back in it. But again, it wasn't my truck. That was kind of a company truck. But now I've got another passion project. And so the whole idea with this thing is I want a square body, because I love these things. I want something to tinker on, beat the crap out of. Just a lowered hot rod that's not pretty, it's not shiny. You know, you think of the whole David Freiberger, don't get it right, get it running. Just put some junk together. And so that's what we have so far. Right now, it's just been a lot of cleaning. And there was a ton of just desert dirt and dust and grease and all that sort of stuff. And I'm sorry, guys, I didn't film cleaning this thing at the car wash when I first picked it up down in Tucson. So anyway, back to what I was saying, though. So now my idea is 350s bore me. I've done 454 swaps before. And honestly, I just want something that I can just drive reliably. And I hate to say it, but we all know that the LSs are kind of the pumpkin spice lattes of the engine swap world. But at this point, I want something cheap. I just want something cheap I can throw together. I don't have to do a serpentine belt drive. I don't have to put an AC stuff on it. Because like I say, we have an AC box here. So new condenser, new heater core. So that's going to be all new junk. But at the same time, we put a 5.3 in here that already has an AC compressor. Done. So I might end up doing that. I don't have to deal with the carburetor. We've got to sort through this mess of wires. We can see it's already got some questionable butt connectors all over it, and it had some crappy, cheap aftermarket radio in it as well. So that's the current situation. Let's try and get a truck together. Can we talk about how gross this fucking seat is? I mean, that's straight up mud coming off of this thing. But the other thing too is I have to weld the bracket on that side. I guess whoever had this dude was kind of fat. But there's the rest of the bracket right there. So I got to go get the welder fired up. And I do have a little flux core 110, blah, blah, blah. No, boo hiss. Guys, I'm not a professional. I'm not a real welder. But I'm hoping I'll be enough to stitch this thing together. But this was just one of the parts I ended up buying. This actually was the seat from the truck. So square body guy did get $100 out of me because he's like, hey, I had a dude that was going to buy it. I took it out and he never picked it up. So $100, it's yours. All right, cool. So I'm just going to throw a saddle blanket or a Mexican blanket over it and call it a day. That's coming off of the seat. That thing's disgusting. Okay, friends, after about 20 minutes of fiddling with the welder, we got the amperage at 120, and a little trial and error, we got it going. Like I say, I just started welding a few months ago. I don't claim to be a welder extraordinaire, not by any means at all. But the whole idea for me is just to actually go out and do it. And yes, I do have the wire feed sitting right there, and I got to put a tip in it and actually put the wire in it. So that's why I decided to roll with the Lincoln Tombstone. But the whole problem is that this upper seat track was actually cracked in half, and that's really what bolts the seat to the truck. This part down here bolts to the bottom of the seat, and then that's part of the slider rail, and the actual slider rail is what bolts to the floor. So without that, I'm not going to have that stinky, nasty, gross looking bench seat in the truck. And at least for now, this will get it back up and going until I can get something a little bit better, or a better seat, or maybe bucket seats, I'm not sure. But again, we're building the square body on the cheap, and we're doing it ourselves here, so it's not going to be perfect. All right, friends, here we go. We've got day number 3 of owning the truck, and I've got the welding hood on. Maybe not exactly the best use of welding, but this is the only welder I've got on deck that's ready to go. Is this old Lincoln Tombstone, and I'm not that good of a welder. Let's be real. I only started playing with this thing a few months ago, but I just want to go out and do it. And I do have a little Craftsman flux core sitting right over here, but I still have to do the tip and put it in. But this, I can just fire it up and ready to go. So we're going to try this. And I never said I was a good welder, guys, but I'm more than happy to attempt this. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Maybe I need to bump up my amperage a little bit. Put it on 105, and I know that you've got all these welders that probably are a lot better than me that are just wincing right now, but guys, this is part of the practice. Honestly, I just need to freaking do it. Ooh, that's a little warm. And should I do for YouTube? Okay. So I'm sure everyone in the comment section will tell me how to do this right, but we're doing the dang thing. Like I say, guys, this is all part of the practice. Let me not burn my eyes. Let's not hit the... Ah, damn it. That is not how you weld, alright, guys? Never said I was good at welding. I'll probably fight this for a little while longer. So I've left the seat out here to dry for a couple hours and still has like water stains, but I need a pressure washer. Here's our current situation though. Let's go take a look at the seat bracket I welded together. We'll see if it holds. I'll go through the dog on the seat and see if this weld holds, but had to go make a beer run. Make sure you always have a beer fridge in your garage. So, walking back over to the truck, I did go get some sheet metal, small slice of it right there, from the hardware store. And, well, this thing exactly wasn't as rust-free as I originally had thought. But I got a welder. I ain't scared of trying new things, so we'll see how well this works. But in the meantime, I think I'm going to clean up the floor a little bit and put that seat back together. Probably just throw the seat in here. Won't be bolted in, won't be pretty. It probably smells funny, but it's just not in the back of the truck or cluttering up the garage. So we're going to go do that. And honestly, I was rewatching some of the old clips, and or the ones I was saying yesterday. Like, I really honestly do want to go get a Corvette or a Circle Track chassis or a Super Truck chassis. But again, the whole idea is to cobble this garbage together and just drive it. I need a truck. I need to do truck things. So instead of spending $2,000 on some piece of junk, I'd much rather spend $2,000 and build my own piece of junk. And look at this. This thing's already pulling truck duty. So as you can see, I'm sitting outside. And, well, make sure you always have your furry supervisor close by. So that way, he ensures that you do a halfway decent job, even if he is out here snoring. And, well, an old Squarebody also makes a great point to tie your pup up to. Well, here's the current situation. Check it out. We're sitting in the truck. Yogi, what do you think, pal? What do you think, buddy? He's happy to be cruising in a truck, or at least he's got a truck now. So, again, this is the whole reason why I bought this thing. So I had a truck for him to cruise in. That's it. But the gross seat's in here. It's still a little damp. I mean, it's early May, so it's nice and warm here in the Phoenix area. But here we are. We're hanging out. And the seat doesn't smell as bad, which is good. But it still needs a good pressure washing or steam cleaning or something, because it's disgusting. But at least right now, it just looks like a truck missing an engine trans, windshield, and a fender and a door. But I don't know. I'm halfway tempted to go pick up that fender that I stashed a couple months back, because it's relatively rust free. I mean, it might have spots of rust in the normal area, but I also promised I'd buy some tools from my neighbor Winter the German, and I need those tools for work. So it's work or play. What do I do? Well, friends, I think I'm going to call this video. This is the end of day number 3 on this thing, and so we have something that looks like a truck. But what I didn't show you guys was all the shenanigans and tomfoolery involved with getting this thing off of the trailer. When I got here, the ratchet straps that hold the front tires were loose, and the rear tires were hanging off the back of this thing. So me and my neighbor ended up pulling the truck off, letting it fall off the back of the car transporter, rolling it back until it bottomed out on the frame, getting the ramps out, and then pushing it out the rest of the way. I was going to pick up a set of wheels and tires that had some big looking boggers for $120, so I did the responsible and logical thing and paid $60 for one tire. So we've got a big ugly tire over there. We've got a 15 by 8 or 9 rally on this side, another tire. Everything's different, but here's the important part. When you get your hands on a square body, because you have to get a square body for your dog. That's just the main thing. He needs a truck to cruise around in, but make sure you get a square body that matches your dog. That's the real thing here. So Mr. Yogi Bear is already digging this seat. He's happy. And I jumped in it over there. That booger weld that I did actually held up pretty well. So maybe I need to get one of my chunky girlfriends and see if she'll break the seat or not. And if that's the case, then we are good to go. But I do need to get a saddle blanket on here. He is definitely digging it already. I'm still up in the air on whether or not I'm going to go back to the junkyard and get that stashed fender, get another door for it, and then the hunt continues for a junkyard 5.3. I think that might be what we'll end up doing. And I would like to bang gears in it, but maybe I'll just go get a TH400. That way I don't have to change out the drive shaft. Good to go. Oh, and of course, we got to get a drop kit, because why would anyone in their right mind rock one of these things stock ride height? I certainly wouldn't do that. Does Yogi care, though? I think Yogi is absolutely happier than a pig in mud to chill in a square body. So there you go, guys. That's another day of saving the squares. Stay tuned. We will make more YouTube shenanigans. But so far, Yogi's happy with it. So if Yogi's happy, I'm happy.